Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. As reported by Al Jazeera, voters in Kosovo have cast their ballots in an early parliamentary election, marking the country's third vote in just 18 months. This latest election represents a critical attempt to break a prolonged political impasse that has stalled Kosovo's ambitions of joining the European Union and NATO. The ongoing deadlock was triggered after the country's major political parties failed to reach a consensus by a March deadline on a successor to former President Vjosa Osmani. This institutional vacuum has severely impacted the nation's economy, which was already struggling under the weight of the global energy crisis and inflation. Additionally, the lack of a stable government has delayed access to vital EU funding. While Prime Minister Albin Kurti's Vetëvendosje party holds a parliamentary majority, electing a president requires a broader consensus of at least 80 lawmakers in the 120-member assembly. Analysts suggest that the election is unlikely to yield major changes in the political landscape, leaving voters frustrated. European leaders have urged Kosovo to resolve its deadlock quickly to move forward with Western integration. According to Liberty Times, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has strongly condemned a Russian drone attack on a spent nuclear fuel storage facility near the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, calling the strike extremely despicable. Zelensky stated on social media that a Russian Shahed drone struck a building at the centralized spent fuel storage facility in the Chernobyl exclusion zone. The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, confirmed that it was notified of the attack, which caused severe damage to the facility's fuel receiving building and shattered windows of nearby structures. Although Ukrainian authorities reported that radiation levels at the site remain within safety limits, the IAEA announced plans to dispatch a team to inspect the area as soon as possible. The site is located in the exclusion zone surrounding the Chernobyl plant, which was the location of the catastrophic 1986 nuclear disaster. Zelensky emphasized that targeting such critical infrastructure represents a highly dangerous and malicious escalation by Russian forces. According to a report by Yonhap news agency, South Korean President Lee Jae-myung has ordered a thorough joint investigation by prosecutors and police into the ballot shortages that disrupted local elections held last week. During Wednesday's voting, at least a dozen polling stations in Seoul, including the Eastern Songpa district, reported running out of ballot papers, which led to temporary suspensions of the voting process. Following the disruptions, public anger has escalated. Thousands of protesters have been rallying near a vote-counting facility in eastern Seoul for 3 consecutive days, demanding that a new election be held. In response to the growing unrest and the voting irregularities, President Lee ordered the law enforcement authorities to launch a comprehensive probe to determine the cause of the shortages and address the public's concerns. According to a report by Singtao Daily, the Japan Ground Self-Defense Force conducted its largest annual domestic live-fire exercise, the Fuji Comprehensive Firepower Exercise, at the East Fuji Maneuver Area in Shizuoka Prefecture. A key highlight of the event was the first public reveal of the Type 25 high-speed glide bomb launcher vehicle, a long-range weapon deployed in March to boost Japan's counter-strike capabilities. The exercise, observed by Defense Minister Shinjiro Koizumi, also introduced new anti-drone drills in response to lessons learned from conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East, demonstrating soldiers shooting down simulated drones with auto-aiming rifles. Following a fatal accident at a different training site in April, Type 10 tanks were excluded from the exercise to ensure safety. Instead, older Type 90 tanks were utilized, firing non-explosive practice ammunition. The massive drill mobilized approximately 3,000 personnel, 50 tanks and armored vehicles, and 50 tanks and armored vehicles, and 50 artillery pieces, consuming nearly 70 tons of ammunition. According to a report by Thai Sounds, diplomatic friction between China and Japan has severely impacted the supply of tungsten, a critical rare metal essential for manufacturing automotive and aerospace cutting tools. Chinese customs data reveals that China's exports of tungsten carbide and tungsten powder to Japan fell to zero between February and April. With China controlling approximately 80% of the global tungsten supply, Japanese manufacturers are facing severe procurement challenges. Although companies like Sumitomo Electric have turned to alternative sources such as the United States, the cost of importing from other countries has surged up to threefold, forcing some businesses to raise their product prices or consider production cuts. To mitigate rising costs and reduce their reliance on China, major Japanese corporations are heavily investing in recycling. Sumitomo Electric is spending approximately 16 billion yen to establish a new recycling facility in Toyama, while Mitsubishi Materials plans to invest 10 billion yen to expand its recycling capacity in both Japan and Europe. Industry experts note that while recycling offers a viable path forward, extending these technologies to small and medium-sized enterprises remains a key challenge. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.